Um, I mean, no intro needed really. Jon Fitch, former World Series champ, UFC veteran, now Bellator welterweight. Man, thank you for being on the show. How's everything going with you?
Everything's good, man. Yeah, just playing the waiting game. It's driving me a little crazy, but it's all right. There's gold at the end of the rainbow. So
Yeah, right. Yeah, it's pretty funny because I follow you on Instagram, so your background is very familiar. I always see that background on the Instagram pictures.
yeah, I got my setup. So I got a couple. I got another edition or two with the Guam flag and my Purdue flag.
Nice,
So
sweet man.
So yeah.
Let's get back to it. Bellator announced the welterweight Grand Prix, and right off the bat, like you're matched up with the Bellator champ. Like, were you kind of annoyed that they set you up with Rory MacDonald, or are you kind of happy just to get it over with?
No, I'm very happy because I get paid more as a champ.
Yeah.
So like I'd rather I'd rather fight for the belt first.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Nice. So if you beat Rory, so there's no separate title, is it the welterweight title?
The welterweight belt is up for grabs every round. Yeah.
Nice. So if you beat Rory, you beat Rory, and then you're champ the rest
of
the
I'd be champ, and then I got to defend it the rest of the time.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I was under the impression that maybe you guys get a Grand Prix bout at the end of the tournament.
That's not what my understanding is. Because I also assume, like, I still haven't got any paperwork, so like there's still a lot of questions. But I'm under the assumption that everybody's fighting 5 rounds throughout the tournament.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why, because the belt's up for grabs every round.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's crazy. Then it's more dangerous doing that than defending your belt once every 3-4 months.
Yeah.
But I really like the situation because I'm getting older and I don't want to wait around for fights. So I'd rather get the belt, knock out a couple more fights right away.
Yeah.
Get it over with. Yeah.
Nice. So there's no bout agreement signed yet. You have no contracts in front of you. It's pretty much just waiting on the word, like from.
Yeah, we're waiting on paperwork. My Crazy Bob, my manager, they said they're writing stuff up. I should see it here soon. So yeah.
Did you change your nickname recently? Because I read somewhere that's John or something.
Stylistic matchup.
Yeah, there you go. No, that was just. That was just a joke.
Okay.
It's just a joke. I think I was on Ariel's show.
Yeah.
I was just kind of joking around.
Okay. It fits you. It's just kind of a long nickname.
This is long, yeah.
Now you're obviously you come from a long history in MMA, and you're in Bellator now. What's it like having Bellator as a home?
It's nice, man. I think there are a lot more merit-based with the fights they choose. I like the way they promote. It's a good feel. I like PFL was, they treated me good. The World Series fighting, they treated me good, but the fights were too far in between. There was too much confusion about what's going on, and they didn't really have the promotion side of it down that well. Most people thought I was retired. I won their welterweight championship, and everybody thought I was retired. So there's something wrong with your promotion if people don't even know who your champions are.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty funny how things are with MMA in 2018. Like, you have the UFC where the bouts are like, don't mean nothing over there.
No, and they've said, and their lawyers have said throughout our the Aliak stuff and throughout the lawsuit that it's just a trophy that's bestowed on the best fighter that night. They're not world championships.
Right.
That's the UFC themselves. That's their claim. It's not a world championship. Yeah. It's just an award for that night.
Yeah, and it's sad because like you got the biggest promotion, and their titles don't mean nothing. They look at the PFL. And I mean, they're doing well, but Bellator seems like the only promotion that does everything right. Their belts mean something, and
they're still making 140 times less than the UFC.
Right.
Yeah.
But
so it's not even a close competition. It's not
correct.
Yeah.
And it's good to see what they're doing, but at the same time, they're not really competitors.
Right. Mm-hmm. And there's an argument that can be said that Bellator right now has the best welterweight division in MMA.
I think so.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's the most recognizable. I think more people would recognize the top Bellator names than the UFC names.
Yeah.
And how do you feel about getting into Bellator at this point when they have their division is built up and Coker has had the time to kind of build up their promotion?
I love it. That's one of the other reasons why I left PFL is because there wasn't really any other big names for me to fight. So I'm in this to conquer mountains. So
Right.
It doesn't do me. I don't want to fight up and comers.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And with Bellator, like the second avenue is as far as kickboxing. Is that something that you want to pursue at some time in your career? Or you just happy with MMA right now?
I'm happy with MMA. I like what I do. I don't like the idea of limiting what I can do in a fight. I'm drawn to that idea of no holds barred type competition. I want to see what really works in a fight, what's really real.
Yeah.
And you can't do that when you throw a bunch of rules onto something.
Right.
Yeah. And a lot of the guys that you've come up with and a lot of the champions that you fought, some of them are not in the game anymore. Some of them are. A lot of them are still. Looking at the landscape of who your contemporaries with coming up, like how do you feel like where you are now? Because you really don't look like you aged a day, really, since you first burst onto the scene. So you got some good genes.
Well, I mean, I think has a lot more to do with diet, nutrition, and in the past, almost a year now, I've been on a pretty rigorous supplementation program.
Yeah.
I almost retired because I was having some serious neck issues, and I was at a point where I couldn't train the way I needed to fight at the level I wanted to.
Right.
When you can only grapple maybe one day a week, it's not a good thing. I switched to southpaw when I fought Jake Shields because I couldn't spar right-handed anymore.
Wow.
Because my head couldn't get hit and go back in that direction.
Wow, that's crazy.
I spent like five months switching to southpaw in Las Vegas with Master Nick at One Kicks Gym, and I started working with a guy, William Vandry, last like October or so. And he tweaked my diet just a little bit. We cut the carbs way down and cut the sugar out completely. And then he started this supplement regimen. And man, I take a crap load of pills every day.
Yeah.
I just wrote a blog, put it up on website jonfitch.net, and I listed most of the supplements that I'm taking and pretty much the volume that I'm taking right now. So you guys can kind of look at that. And it's not a small amount.
Yeah.
Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Now, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
So, so before I mentioned Unify with Rory MacDonald's coming up pretty soon, are you taking this training camp in a different way just because he's a young lion? He's a very well-rounded fighter. Like how are you approaching this training camp with Rory MacDonald?
Well, I got some time. The fight could happen anywhere between November and February.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Because he's fighting Musashi in end of September. So. It's a month until that fight happens.
Yeah.
And depending on how healthy he is after that fight will be the schedule for the next fight. So I'm thinking at the soonest, probably December. I'm thinking, because even if Rory's healthy and ready to go, Scott Coker is going to want to promote the fight correctly. And I think that puts us more around December, I think. So I don't know, maybe a New Year's fight would be pretty great.
Wow.
New Year's in San Jose would be pretty awesome. But so my preparation right now is just get my body strong and get my body ready for training camp. That way I can put in a hard 8 weeks to 10 weeks and not have any injuries or anything nagging or bothering me throughout that time.
Are you have you considered taking another fight in between?
We tried.
Okay.
But it wasn't offered. They want this fight, and the tournament's starting, so it wouldn't make a lot of sense for me to fight before the tournament. Because the tournament's starting the 29th.
So they're basically asking you to wait until Rory's available.
Yeah, they're going to take care of me though.
Okay.
I'm still waiting for a check, but
yeah.
Supposed to be taken care of to get me through to that next time, because that was one of the problems also with the last promotion was it wasn't fighting often enough.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're gonna make it okay. So yeah,
well, that's good. That's good to know. So a lot of people consider Rory MacDonald like really dangerous. Like I know there's mutual respect between you two, and what do you see him as his most dangerous as far as his attack?
This is kind of funny, but I've never watched him fight.
Really?
You haven't seen him fight, huh?
Wow.
Okay.
The first
being
time I've
real?
seen him fight is I had a couple guys. I've had a few people send me links to breakdown videos
Yeah.
in the last week or two. So that's the
Wow.
most I've watched him fight.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Now, are you not big? Do you not watch the sport that you play in? Do you don't watch it that much?
So I absolutely love this sport,
Mhm.
but you can tell I was very vocal about what was happening when I was with the UFC.
Yeah.
That it felt like things were going down a professional wrestling route, and I'm not a professional wrestling fan.
Mhm.
If people like it, it's okay. I don't mind. You can like what you like, but
Yeah.
that's not what I like. I don't.
Mhm.
So like to me, it's gone full pro wrestling.
Yeah. At this point, yeah.
And
Yeah.
I'm not interested. It
Yeah.
just does not interest me. So I like training. I like teaching. I like fighting. It's how I make my money. But chance to me sitting down and watching the fights is far and few in between. Unless I know the guy personally, I'm probably not going to watch the fights.
Wow.
How about other promotions? Did you entertain other promotions?
I'm getting into Bellator now. I'm
Okay.
starting to watch up and comers and stuff like that because I enjoy it more. It's funner to
Right.
watch. You can see, oh, this guy's won 6 fights. You're going to give him a big fight,
Yeah,
rather
yeah.
than
Right.
this guy's lost 3 fights in a row. They're going to give him a title shot.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's just it makes more sense.
Right.
Hierarchies. We're human beings. We operate on hierarchies, dominance hierarchies. So to strip us of that dominance hierarchy to watch, like, it robs us, and we feel empty. And I think there's a lot of people who used to be big fans that get bored of it. There's like a high turnover rate for fanhood for a lot of people, I think.
Yeah.
Right. Speaking of pro wrestling, your teammate Kane, he was at the WWE facility, I guess, doing some training.
Yeah, he's
about that?
Yeah, well, I think it has a little bit to do with contract negotiations.
Oh, really?
Right?
Okay.
Yeah, because I mean, there's absolutely zero leverage for an MMA fighter at all.
Yeah.
You have zero leverage going into a negotiation with the promoter, especially with the UFC. So Conor McGregor doesn't really have that much leverage. People like to think he does, but he's still not making 50% of the gross revenue. So he's severely well underpaid. Yeah, at the most he's making like 17% of what they're paying, what they're making. So having that leverage, like, hey, well, give me the contract I want, or I go over here and I make more money.
Yeah.
That's the type of leverage they want. But it's a little dangerous play too, though, because the UFC, I don't think, cares. They like the high turnover rate. They want a high turnover rate because it keeps their costs down. They don't have to pay guys as much.
Right.
So they make a lot of cuts based on saving money. That was why they cut Rory. That's why they cut Masasi. That's why they've let a lot of guys go. It's just because they can bring on 10 guys for the price of that one guy.
That's true.
Right.
And to them, there's no meritocracy. So those 10 guys are better than that one guy's name because they can just put them into put them on the cycle again. The average UFC fight career is less than 1 year.
Wow.
The average main event fight career for the UFC is less than 2.25 years.
Wow, that's crazy.
It's insanity,
Yeah.
and that is minus guys who fought one time and were done.
Yeah.
Wow.
So those numbers are actually way way lower than that.
Yeah. Well, maybe you should like whisper to Kane's ear and tell him to join you over at Bellator.
well, if they have, I don't know. Sometimes they have. Those contracts are hard to get away from. They're pretty thick, and they might be multiple fight contracts, and they might not let you go. And they freeze your contract if you get injured or if you retire. So they're perpetual. They're really perpetual. Wow. You're not free from the UFC unless they really let you go and they want you to go.
Now, obviously you're really a big advocate for fighters' rights and all that. Are you surprised that a union hasn't shown a really strong? We've seen examples of it pop up here and there, but they've all kind of crashed and burned.
Part of that I think is we don't get any support from the journalists. We don't. The media doesn't support us in any way. They ultimately prefer the UFC monopoly, and they don't want to see that disrupted. And part of that is because a lot of them have cushy jobs, and they don't actually want to have to compete to keep their jobs. Yeah. They would rather be locked into their position and be PR agents for the UFC and keep their jobs rather than actually, competing against guys like you, grassroots guys who who have with technology and today you can go around. There's no more middlemen. You can go right to it.
Yeah.
You can contact the fighters directly. You can put up your own show. You don't need the promotion or anything else, and you can ask hard questions. You can talk about money and fighters pay. But these other guys, they can't do that, and I think they're just grateful that they have their positions and they don't want to lose them.
Yeah.
Do you see a union forming before your career is over, or?
Well, I mean,
next
it's
5
got to be an
years?
association. You can't do a union because you can't have collective bargaining
Right.
with one owner.
Yeah.
There's no leverage. What leverage are they going to have? They'll just wait until your fight career is over with. It's average less than a year. So like they just have to wait you out. Like the only way that they would have any power is if they would actually strike. Well, who's going to strike?
Yeah.
Like which one of them are going to strike? Who's going to lead the strike? Which group of fighters is going to say, "Hey, we signed a contract saying we're going to fight on this night, and then we're not going to show up."
Yeah.
So first off, that's illegal because
yeah.
they're independent contractors, and you signed a contract to fight that night. You're not an employee, so you could fall under some serious litigation for that. And then again, the guys aren't making that much money. You're making 10 and 10. You're going to strike on that. You're going to strike and then not show up. The undercard's not going to show up. It's not going to happen.
It's not going to happen. Yeah.
And the guys on the other end who are making okay money, they're still getting ripped off big time, but they're making 6 figures. Well, bread. Those are big breadcrumbs. Those are big chunks of breadcrumbs. So like they're not going to risk their big breadcrumb and go starving. Like people have seen what's happened to me. They've seen what's happened to other guys who've stood up and fought. And the scare tactics have worked.
Yeah. Now, do you think getting more like maybe experienced professionals, like from like the legal side or like the agent side, I don't know, that can come in and offer advice? Do you think is it hard finding those type of people?
It's going to take just some committed people to keep pushing it politically because of the high turnover rate. Now you have younger guys who have just bought into the pro wrestling system, and they're like, this is the way it is. I support it. I'm going to dominate in the pro wrestling system. So it's really hard to convince the younger guys, like, hey, you're going to get ripped off. And then by the time they figure it out, they're already on their way out, and then it's too late.
Yeah.
I mean, it sucks. Like with Leslie Smith, like what's happened with Leslie Smith? Like she's completely disappeared.
Yeah.
Is she ever going to fight again? Maybe not. And then like that's a clear example to all the younger guys. Hey, don't go down that route. Don't fight us. Just go with it.
Yeah.
Wow. That's sad. That's really sad.
Yeah, I mean, and that's the thing is that things would change overnight if the fighters just came together and said, yeah, hey, we want this. We need this. If they came forward and stood up and supported the class action lawsuit and supported the Ali Act and then joined the Fighters Association. Because the Fighters Association, once we have enough fighters, the fighters are the ones who vote and decide how things are operated, how they want things to go. It's nobody is already the president and calling the shots. We have a steering committee, but we can be voted out of our position at any time. We just need the people to sign the dotted line and commit.
Yeah.
Right.
But I mean, it's difficult. People are scared. It's a fear thing.
Right. Yeah. It's sad. It's what Brandon Schaub said. Earlier this year that Dana White's a bully pretty much, and he uses scare tactics.
I mean,
to
it's
intimidate
kind of all
fighters.
show business. I mean, how many these like new Me Too stuff? How many people have been raped in Hollywood? How many children have been abused?
Yeah.
It's the same type of thing. These people have power and they can make you do what they want. I'm still waiting for the Me Too UFC stuff to come out because I've heard all kinds of stories.
That'll be really interesting.
All kinds of stories about ring girls and people getting hired and fired for different reasons.
Yeah.
And it's all hearsay, but man, some of that stuff sounds pretty legit and. I'm just waiting for somebody as soon as one person speaks up, everything's
it's gonna be a domino effect for sure.
Do you think the sport, because obviously there's a lot of people that get into the sport like Greg Hardy or any of these guys where I think because they're on the outskirts of because the sport is still kind of on the fringe of mainstream sports. It's there, but it's not like NBA or NFL or whatever. That they can get away with hiring guys like that. They get away with some of the more controversial stuff.
Yeah, I think, they've gone the full entertainment route, so it is a lot different. And that's the thing that I always criticized in the past is like, I didn't like the way they were pushing the sport. Like, why can't we be looked at and operate like NBA or NFL?
Yeah.
Like, those guys wear suits, they're respectful. You know, you don't need Tom Brady and Peyton Manning, you know, calling their mothers names.
Yeah.
Like,
True. Yeah.
you know, you don't need that for it to be a good game. That's purely pro wrestling gimmick, you know, and I'm not into it. But you know, it sells on a small level now.
Yeah, that's true. Now you've been around in MMA for a long time, John. Do you see yourself, you know, retiring pretty soon? Or do you know, still feel good enough so you can compete for the next 5 years or so?
I'm taking it one fight at a time. I feel good right now. I feel good for the next fight. And,
you look good, man.
Yeah, I'm feeling good. My body's feeling good. I've taken care of the neck issue. I mean, it's not completely gone, but as long as I stay on my exercises and my supplementation, I keep my diet clean. It feels good, and I'm grappling and sparring and feeling good. And I'm happy to be in this situation where I get to fight for another title.
Yeah, you look great, especially on against Paul Daly.
Yeah, we're there in attendance.
We were there in attendance. We were there.
Awesome.
You look fantastic in there. You look like you haven't skipped a beat. Really.
Yeah, it was really impressive.
Yeah, feeling good, and it's good to be back at AKA and with all the savages there.
Yeah.
Good atmosphere, good mindset with everybody. I'm just looking to keep you know, beating on people, and I'm hoping to get this belt and then defend it, and you know, we'll see what happens from there. I've got I think 4 more fights, or my 4 or 5 fights on my contract left with Bellator.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
So, you know, I'll probably try to finish those out and then see how I feel. I don't know. I mean, what's his name? Just fought at 51 over in 1FC. Gracie. I can't believe him.
Oh, Henzo.
Henzo. Yeah, Henzo. You know. So, like, who knows what the future brings?
Too.
If somebody wants to pay me $100,000, $150,000, $200,000 to fight somebody when I'm 50 years old.
Talk about a 1FC guy like Ben Askren. Is that somebody that you would be interested in bringing?
Yeah, it would be. That'd be a good, interesting fight. You know,
be an awesome fight. Yeah, that'd be wow.
I don't know if he's even interested. He's spoken that he pretty much only wants to fight GSP or fight in the UFC if he comes back.
Yeah.
He's been real smart with his money, and he's been making money from his wrestling programs and stuff.
Yeah.
So,
and I think he's got a time limit. I think he said 33. He's done. I think or something like that.
Is that a whole old? He's only 30.
He's not even 33 yet. Yeah.
He's children. He's
children.
It's crazy. Are you excited for Captain DC and Brock Lesnar?
I'm excited for DC to get a payday. He's a great guy.
Yeah, he deserves everything that he's getting right now.
Obviously, the politics, not so much, but
the fact that it's Brock.
It's
Brock. As a sport, the fact that you take the greatest heavyweight ever.
Yeah.
You know, who's held the belt in the UFC, loses in a quick fight with a you know, he got clipped with a good punch. And you don't give an immediate rematch. You know, the same thing with Jose Aldo with Conor. Like, it's, you know, I don't know. It takes away the drive to achieve. Like, if nothing matters, if winning and performing doesn't really matter, if it's just how much money they make off of you or how many tickets you sell. I mean,
talk about pro wrestling. You know, like that whole when Brock came in the cage and that whole promo that he cut. That was totally, you know, scripted.
Yeah. So it's not my not my
cup of
thing.
tea,
But they've done a good job. I mean, that's what they've been doing this whole time is promoting and pushing towards pro wrestling fans.
Yeah.
If you look at boxing, the boxing fan base versus the MMA fan base, there's hardly any crossover.
Yeah.
Like, MMA fans barely watch wrestling or barely watch boxing. The only boxing they watch are the really big events.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
They don't watch any of the smaller stuff. But boxing viewership is way higher.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But where there is a huge crossover is pro wrestling and MMA.
And MMA.
It's almost identical.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people say that MMA is an evolution from pro wrestling.
Yeah, and we see a lot of MMA fans that watch pro wrestling regularly. Like, he does for sure more than I do.
And that's what's interesting about that is there's a court case of the U.S. government suing I can't remember what the promotion was, but it was a pro wrestling promotion because that promotion was signing guys to exclusive contracts, and they control the title. That's federally illegal. That's an antitrust violation,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
The way they got out of that lawsuit is they had a secret meeting with the government and told them, hey, these are fake matches. We set these up ahead of time, and because it was pure entertainment, they dropped the class act. They dropped the antitrust suit. That's the exact same business model that the UFC is following now.
Yeah.
So if it was illegal then, why is it legal now?
Yeah. Wow, that's crazy.
That's crazy, man. Oh man! All right. Are you gonna be in attendance on the 29th?
I assume I will be.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they'll
San
be
Jose,
there.
so,
I don't know if they're gonna bring me in to cut a promo in the ring.
Yeah, I know. Right?
Like,
yeah.
Do it, John.
I also,
do
you should
do it.
push for it. Push
you
for it.
should.
Yeah.
I'll have a, maybe I'll do a Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Just bring a chair. Just bring a chair.
Smash it on my head.
Do something
Spit
crazy.
The beer around. Yeah.
Spray paint something.
Ultimate Warrior spray paint.
Yeah.
Something, man.
Well, I hope to see you there. I think we were going to be there in attendance for
Yeah,
sure. So hopefully
Awesome.
we'll get to meet in person. And
Cool, man.
thank you for being on the show, man. We really appreciate it. Dropping a lot
Thanks
of knowledge.
Thanks for having me. And have everybody check out jonfitch.net. I got all my stuff up there. I got my Fitch Smash gear. You can just click the links. Everything's up there. I got some blogs. Got a blog series. I'm actually turning the blog series that I put up on my website. I'm working on putting that into a book now.
Awesome.
So hopefully I'll have a book out for people by the end of the year.
Awesome.
Talking about the early days of AKA and my early start.
Yeah. What in terms of your fans, like what is it like the most common like question or whatever they ask you all the time? Like what do they always bring something up to you?
Not really, man.
Like that?
I get everybody loved the GSP fight and Eric Silva fight. Everybody always comes up and talks to me about those things.
I was about to say the same thing, John. It was a pleasure and an honor because I remember as a kid, watching that GSP fight. As a kid,
yeah, no, we're pretty old too, though.
We're pretty old too.
I feel like I think we were like we're not too far in age from you, so it's like
no, I love it though. It's man, I never felt older. I was doing some security I was doing some appearance work actually at a strip club last New Year's, whatever, in Vegas, and one of the girls came up to me and goes, "Oh my God, you're my favorite. I used to watch you all the time when I was a little girl."
Oh man, that's sad.
I was like, "Oh,
you look good. So don't worry about it, man." But it's been a pleasure, man. It's crazy to watch that fight, and here I am, speaking to you. So it's really an honor, and we really appreciate your time. Best of luck.
No worries, man.
With that.
Good talking to you guys. Keep up the hustle. I like it.
For sure,
it's awesome, man.
Thank you.
And
do what you're passionate about.
Yeah, man. Best of luck with that Rory MacDonald fight, and if you want, you can always send Josh and I some of those cool Jon Fitch shirts, man. We'll wear them.
All right, man.
All right, John. It was a pleasure, man. You take care. Have a good night.
All right, guys. Take it easy.
Take it easy.